And could you just remind folks out there about Ghislaine Maxwell's father, Robert Maxwell, and just what your history was in helping to prosecute him?
Well, to a remarkable extent, the Maxwell name and family has hung over me to some extent since the early 1980s. I was an inveterate opponent of the union-busting tactics of her father, Robert Maxwell, when he was seeking to wreck the unions in the newspaper industry when he was a significant newspaper baron. It's forgotten now, but he was once upon a time bigger than Rupert Murdoch in the newspaper business, especially in Britain, but also in the United States, in New York City, in fact. So I was his bitter opponent for those reasons. But the closer I got to him in these battles, the more ugly and sinister a persona was revealed. And one night in the 1980s, someone delivered through my door in London chapters of a book that Seymour Hersh was trying to publish. Seymour Hersh, the great investigative reporter, a jewel in the crown of real journalism, especially back then, a man who'd revealed great crimes in Vietnam and so on. These chapters were delivered to me as a member of Parliament because everything about Hersh's book had been injuncted in the British courts secretly, the arrow that flies in the night. So that literally no one knew of the existence of this book, the chapters in question, which dealt with Robert Maxwell and his nefarious activities, his serious criminal behavior. And I presume they were delivered to me because as a member of Parliament, I had, I'm sure it exists also in the United States, something called parliamentary privilege. In other words, I could say things in Parliament which the media could then report freely, irrespective of Mr. Maxwell's highly expensive bullying operation to try and suppress this material. And so on the Monday or the Tuesday after the delivery of this material, once I had checked out its veracity in Parliament, I accused Robert Maxwell of, inter alia, betraying the whereabouts of the brave Jewish Israeli whistleblower Mordechai Vanunu, who had in the Sunday Times, then edited by the aforementioned Andrew Neil, the existence of a secret and absolutely illegal nuclear weapons armory in the hands of the state of Israel at a place called Dimona in the Negev desert. And many other things, dealing in arms, being an agent of the Israeli security services, and of course, being a thief. And what a thief he turned out to be. That much is not contestable. He was responsible for the biggest single theft until today, actually, until the High Court in England stole Venezuela's $1 billion worth of gold. That's now the biggest theft in British history. But hitherto, Mr. Maxwell's theft of some £800 million of his own employees' pension funds was grand larceny indeed. So I accused him of all of these things when he was still alive and suing. And he set his newspapers, all of them, every single one, I'm talking 7 or 8 newspapers, all of whom ran front page assaults on me, accusing me of every filthy, defamatory, libelous thing you could, I immediately sued him, and before they could get to court, the proprietor, Robert Maxwell, either fell off or was pushed off the back of his yacht off the Canary Islands in the Atlantic and to a watery grave. And of course, they had to settle out of court with me because it quickly became clear that everything I had alleged against Maxwell turned out to be the truth. So the Maxwell clan, of whom Ghislaine was his favorite, she was his favorite daughter. He called the yacht from which he fell or was pushed the Lady Ghislaine. After her, has long been a subject of political and journalistic interest to me.
So metaphorically, Terramar is a country with citizens.
Right. All citizens of the world are citizens of Terramar, or citizens of the high seas, if you will, part of the global commons. But so that you feel a sense of identity, we're giving you passports to it. So when you go to the site, it's free, you sign in, and you get a digital passport to Terramar.
And so her emergence at the center, alongside Jeffrey Epstein, of this disgusting web, did not in any way surprise me. I wish I could tell you I was shocked, but I certainly was not shocked. They are a rum crew. I just did not know how little distance the fruit had fallen from the tree in the case of Ghislaine Maxwell.